Coming up next on Citrus TV News, the new electronic bike sharing program on its way to SU. Our Oscar Offerman is here to tell you how these bikes could survive the brutal Syracuse winters.
And the actor who played Kevin Richardson in a Netflix series about the Central Park Five wins big. The honor for the man who played SU's recent visitor next.
And the accusation against the President Trump that could help Democrats' impeachment efforts. Our Brandon Ross is here to break it all down. Citrus TV News starts right now.
This is Citrus TV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
600 full-time jobs are coming to Central New York. Today, Governor Cuomo announced a $1 billion partnership with the Marcy Nano Center to create the world's largest silicon carbide facility. Good evening, I'm Jack Watson.
And I'm Carmella Boykin. In addition to the new jobs, the facility has a job training program for students at SUNY Polytechnic Institute to ensure they are ready for the changing tech industry. Students and recruiters took to Flanagan for the Syracuse University Career Fair. The fair took place from 10 this morning until 2 in the afternoon. The university-wide fair ended 2 hours before the Whitman Career Fair at Manley Fieldhouse, which you can still drop by right now. SU Career Week will conclude tomorrow as the iSchool and College of Engineering hold their career fairs, both in Goldstein Auditorium.
And new details from the Syracuse University Abroad office. Students can now apply for a paid internship in Germany. SU joined the German-American Exchange, which lets undergraduates work for some of Germany's top companies. Accepted students will be paid a minimum of 735 euros per month and up to 4 days of vacation time. The deadline to apply is October 15th, and the internships will run from May to August. And at this week's Student Association meeting, they'll vote on this evening on plans on what programs to continue funding. On the ballot is on-campus STD testing and free tickets to the Holy Cross and Boston College football games. Citrus TV will keep you updated on Twitter throughout the meeting.
Electronic bike sharing has come to SU. Citrus TV reporter Oscar Offerman is in studio to discuss how students are reacting to this new service and how the bikes will survive the unforgiving Syracuse winters.
Thanks, Carmella. Now, some students may have noticed some new light blue bikes around campus. The new service is the result of a partnership between the city of Syracuse and a private company called Gotcha. How have students reacted to this new transportation option?
Hills. It's a lot of walking here. It reminds me of like those scooters at like other college campuses, but the bikes are pretty cool.
The city of Syracuse launched its new electronic bike sharing program back in July, but students have had just a few weeks to try it out.
I think bike sharing is a good idea because personally I would use it. I would like share a bike and go right around campus. It would help me get to class faster.
Gotcha, the company running the new service, has installed a bike hub outside of the Whitman School on Marshall Street. And there are also bikes available in front of Byrd Library and outside Lawrence and Hall.
Not everyone wants to bring a bike or is able to store it at their house, so it's really nice that they have bike shares all over the campus. Sometimes it's a little bit of hassle because the alarms go off all the time near the houses in East Campus, but otherwise it's a great thing.
Students can use the bikes by installing the Gotcha app. The app shows where bikes are located as well as where major hubs are. Gotcha offers a subscription package for students for $35 per year, or a monthly pass for $4 per month. Now, those bikes are also built for the weather. Students will be able to use them in the winter months and the bikes will not rust. This is because of special belts used for the wheels instead of a chain. The bikes are also meant for the road and not the sidewalks, which should make winter travel easier for bikers and walkers alike. For now, students are allowed to park their bikes anywhere on campus, but in the future, Gotcha will charge a $5 fee for unattended bikes. There are also plans to install an official hub at Byrd Library at some point in the future. Jack and Carmella, back to you.
Oscar, thank you. Syracuse University's rowers are getting an upgrade. This weekend, SU Athletics dedicated the new William Sanford Center. Named after the longtime Syracuse rowing coach, it includes brand new rowing equipment. The Sanford Center is located at the Arch and was officially dedicated in a ceremony on Sunday.
Staying on campus now, SU added a $25 million gift commitment to its athletic department on Saturday. The donation comes from former football player John Lally, who referenced the school's need for first-class facilities. According to Athletic Director Yu, Syracuse's athletic facilities recently ranked 13 out of 15 in the ACC. Lally also publicly contributed $1 million to SU athletics back in 2017. And a former aide to Barack Obama will speak at Syracuse University on Friday. Ben Rhodes will speak about public diplomacy at 1025 in Eggers Hall. His address is part of a day-long forum called Common Ground: Cultural Threads That Connect Us. Rhodes is the former national security advisor and speechwriter for President Obama. And on campus here, the weather, not the best today. A little bit of rain here and there, and absolutely pouring about an hour ago, Carmella.
Yeah, absolutely, Jack. And it was humid too. Will it get better? Our weather anchor, Toni Bianco, is live on the Citrus TV weather deck with the forecast. Toni?
All right, thanks, Carmella. Now, I'm outside on the Citrus TV weather deck, and you can't really see it behind me, but it's been raining pretty scattered throughout the afternoon, and it was pretty muggy all morning. I think everybody knew that it was going to rain, and around 4:30 is when it really started to come down. We actually had someone walk into the studio, and we had to dry her off with paper towels because it was that much rain on her 5-minute walk from one building to the studio. Now, right now, it's about 70 degrees outside, and like I said, those scattered showers, so not raining right now, some light winds, but as we head into tonight, we will be seeing that rain again, a chance of showers earlier in the evening, and then possible thunderstorms after 1 a.m. And those temperatures aren't looking too good either. Around 9 p.m. 65, but dropping even lower at midnight, and then 59 degrees by 6 a.m. And we might even be seeing a quarter to a half inch of precipitation overnight. Now, like I said, that rain's not going anywhere all week long, and I'll tell you which days to bring your umbrella later in my full weather forecast. Guys, back to you.
Our weather anchor, Toni Bianco, thank you. No injuries have been reported after a car drove into a crowd of people at Sunday's Westcott Cultural Fair. Officials did not release the names of any suspects. The collision took place near the intersection of Westcott Street and Harvard Place. Over 120 vendors were in attendance at the cultural fair, which takes place every year. And many are wondering which company will occupy that new 3.7 million square foot warehouse in Clay. But one Whitman professor has a guess. Professor Patrick Penfield tells CNY Central he thinks it could be Amazon because the warehouse is part of the New York State drone corridor. Penfield thinks Amazon will use the new location to test their drone delivery service.
Lockheed Martin's plant in the Syracuse suburbs is going to build sonar systems that will help detect enemy submarines. According to Pentagon officials, the contract is worth up to $300 million over the next 7 years. The sonar systems allow ships on the surface to locate and attack enemy submarines at varying depths. Lockheed Martin's plant in Salina is hiring to fill more than 100 job openings. And an Ithaca College alum took home an Emmy for his portrayal of a recent SU visitor. Actor Jarrell Jerome won the Emmy for Best Lead Actor in a Limited Series. When They See Us tells the story of the Central Park Five, a group of 5 Black and Latino teens who were wrongfully convicted of rape in 1989. The 4-part Netflix series follows the group for 25 years and ends with their exoneration. Kevin Richardson, one of the Central Park Five, was recently honored by Syracuse University.
And coming up, the latest in President Trump's alleged effort to investigate Joe Biden with the help from Ukraine. Our Brandon Ross joins us on the other side of the break.
And a popular British travel agency collapses. How many people could be out of a job? Next.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close view.
Is it cool? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch. Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the Citrus TV Newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at Citrus TV News, your campus news leader.
In the wake of Friday's climate protest, Governor Andrew Cuomo says New York State will link up with 2 European countries. Cuomo announced today partnerships with Ireland and Denmark. He says they'll aim to improve power grids and increase renewable energy in the state.
The agreement with Ireland focuses on the state's electric utility research facility, while the agreement with Denmark looks to develop offshore wind energy. The state aims to develop 9,000 megawatts of offshore wind in the next 15 years. Also new in the climate discussion, climate activists are in Washington, D.C. today, demanding action from the government. Hundreds took to the streets this morning for the shutdown D.C. protest. They blocked traffic to raise climate change awareness.
At one intersection, the protesters changed themselves to a sailboat. Washington police say they aim to avoid the mass arrest of protesters whenever possible. However, over 24 people were arrested for the blocking of a major entrance to a major tunnel. And staying with climate news now, President Trump unexpectedly showed up at the United Nations Climate Summit this morning. Trump was not originally scheduled to attend, and a UN representative said they could use the summit as a slingshot toward further agreements that need to be reached in climate negotiations.
That's right. The summit was planned to discuss international climate initiatives similar to the Paris Climate Agreement, which President Trump withdrew the U.S. from in 2017.
And President Donald Trump is facing intense scrutiny for allegedly pressuring Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden and his son. Analyst Brandon Ross joins us in studio to discuss the controversy and how Congress plans to address it.
Jack, about a month and a half ago, a whistleblower filed a complaint that allegedly regards President Trump making an improper promise to a foreign leader. The DOJ and the White House are withholding specifics of that complaint from Congress, but reports indicate that President Trump asked Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to investigate Joe Biden's son Hunter for corruption. Hunter was a paid board member of a Ukrainian gas company while his father was working with Ukraine's government to fend off Russian intervention. Trump has since admitted that he spoke with the Ukrainian leader and that Joe Biden did come up in the discussion. This phone call occurred around the time Trump discussed potentially withholding $250 million in military aid for Ukraine. Reports from the weekend suggest this may have been intended to force Zelensky's hand in a quid pro quo. Democrats in the House were already ramping up their efforts towards an impeachment inquiry, and this latest scandal from the White House could very well fuel the fire further if the steam keeps picking up.
Well, Brandon, let's talk a little about that. Impeachment efforts. How do you think this is going to affect House Democrats' impeachment efforts?
Well, House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff was already moving closer towards the impeachment category, and he said it may be the only option in light of these recent reports.
And Brandon, what's the next thing that people should look out for?
People need to look out for upcoming testimony from the acting director of national intelligence, Joseph McGuire, on Thursday. The big problem with this story is that he holds the information. The complaint is in his possession right now. Congress is asking for it, and so far, on the request of the DOJ and the White House, he has refused to turn it over to Congress.
All right, our political analyst, Brandon Ross. Brandon, thank you very much.
The United Auto Workers are in their second week of striking against General Motors. Almost 50,000 workers are demonstrating for higher wages.
Both sides say talks are ongoing, but they do not appear to be making progress. Presidential candidates Elizabeth Warren and Joe Biden visited workers yesterday in Detroit and Kansas City, respectively. And the British Thomas Cook Travel Agency is folding, threatening to drop thousands of jobs with it and sending thousands of travelers back home.
According to the BBC, the British government denied the company a bailout request of £250 million. Over 150,000 British tourists are stranded with no way home. The British government is preparing a program to bring them that home that will cost over $750 million.
Now, the collapse has also left the future of 20,000 UK jobs uncertain.
A Kenyan school collapsed early this morning, killing 7 children and placing 2 in critical condition. The reason the building collapsed is unclear, but residents think it is due to the poor construction of the building, as there are little regulations in many Kenyan communities.
64 children were admitted into the Kenyatta National Hospital. 800 are enrolled at the school.
And coming up on Citrus TV News, if you forgot your umbrella, you'll be needing towels to dry off from your walk to class. But for how long? I'll have the answer after the break.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise and be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Got a quarter?
From the Citrus TV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
I'm back inside the Citrus TV studio and looking at our weather for tomorrow. When you wake up in the morning, it's going to be about 60 degrees, so a little bit chilly. You're going to want probably a rain jacket though, because we're going to be seeing scattered showers and possibly even some thunderstorms early in the morning. And as we get to noon, that temperature is not climbing too much, 62 degrees at noon, getting a little bit warmer in the afternoon around 67, and then we won't be seeing rain probably after about 5 p.m. and then dropping back down the temperature to about 64 around 6 o'clock tomorrow. So Tuesday's outdoor activity outlook, it's not looking good, guys. I have it listed as moderate right now because we've seen worse weather here in Syracuse. I would say the key for tomorrow is a rain jacket, rain boots, things like that, because it's going to be a little bit chilly. And as it's going to be pretty similar across central New York, those temperatures up in those 60s. And what you can see with this future radar is that green is moving all the way through central New York. So everywhere in central New York is going to be hit by rain. And that rain isn't going anywhere. If you take a look at the full week, you can see that the rain is kind of bouncing back and forth. Tuesday some rain, Thursday some rain early in the morning, but sun on Wednesday and Friday. Now Wednesday, you might be asking Alexa to play Take On Me, Torn, or Come On Eileen, because it's National One Hit Wonder Day. And speaking of one hit wonders, Nicole, were Eric Dungy and the Orange's 2018 season just a one-hit wonder, or can Tommy DeVito lead this year's team to another bowl game?
Well, Tony, if Saturday's matchup against Western Michigan was any indicator, Tommy DeVito showed glimmers of growth and potential that could mean good things for the rest of the season. And coming up in sports, I've got the highlights from Syracuse's bounce-back win. It's so desperately needed on the other side of the break.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
And Syracuse football was looking to get back on track when Western Michigan visited the Salt City on Saturday. Good evening, I'm Nicole Weaving with sports. Orange fans were second-guessing this 2019 squad after the Clemson Tigers took over the Loud House in front of a sellout crowd. But quarterback Tommy DeVito and company seized the opportunity against the Broncos to show off their true potential. And now Tommy DeVito motivating his offensive line here, and it must have paid off because the running game looked really strong against Western Michigan. Mo Neal here breaks a tackle, streaking into the end zone, a 23-yard rushing touchdown here, and Syracuse goes up 7-0 under 3 minutes into the game. And it didn't really start getting competitive until late in the second quarter. John Wassing to Giovanni Ricci here, and Syracuse, though, looking to continue building its lead in the second half. Tommy DeVito finds Tristan Jackson a 59-yard touchdown pass there, and Syracuse is up 31-13, but it wasn't all bright and shiny for the Orange. A miscue here. Abdul Adams has the ball punched out of his hands, fumble recovered by the Broncos, and they turn it into this 8-yard rushing touchdown here. Sean Tyler able to take it around the outside, a hard hit out of bounds, but Syracuse, they were dominant from the start. They were dominant through the finish. Mo Neal dances into the end zone. A big day for the senior, 2 touchdowns, 123 yards. Syracuse wins it 52-33. And Tommy DeVito's favorite target, Tristan Jackson, is receiving some recognition for his performance on Saturday. The redshirt junior earned ACC Receiver of the Week accolades after tallying 6 catches for 141 yards. Can't forget that pair of long touchdowns in the third quarter, one of which you got to see in the highlights. Jackson currently sits at 4th in the ACC for receiving yards per game. And from football to football, Syracuse men's soccer squares off against Colgate in a battle for Central New York tonight. The Orange finally finished a game in the 90 or so minutes of regulation on Friday, but it was a 1-0 loss to top-ranked Wake Forest. SU still looking for its first win away from home this season, while Colgate has yet to lose a game on their own home turf. That game gets underway at 7 p.m. And Syracuse field hockey already took a trip down to Hamilton, New York, beating Colgate 3-1 yesterday. The good times keep rolling for Charlotte DeVries. The freshman netted 2 goals in the first half, executing both on corners. I mean, look at the power here on this one as she puts it into the back of the net. And DeVries has scored in every contest this season except Friday's 2-0 loss to Virginia. And good to see that loss mostly just a fluke for Ange Bradley's squad. S.J. Quigley added the 3rd goal for the Orange, just her 2nd time finding the back of the net this season, and Syracuse plays its 2nd consecutive road game versus Duke on Friday. And with these high temperatures, it's hard to believe the women's ice hockey team is starting up its season. Paul Flanagan and squad opened its season last night when Montreal came to town for an exhibition match. After making the NCAA tournament for the first time in 2018, Syracuse picked up where it left off with a 4-1 victory over Montreal. 4 different players scored for Syracuse, 3 of which came on power plays you see here. And the Orange outshot Montreal 61-25 with 37 of those shots coming on goal.
You love to see hockey season starting back up, but let's wheel back to this weekend. What what stuck out to you? Stuck out to you? Oh my goodness! In Western Michigan.
Well, they did have a little bit of a cleaner game than that question right there, Jack. But the biggest thing that stood out to me was really their defense. We saw their tackling really unable to get the job done against Maryland and Clemson. And this time they were able to get 4 turnovers there. They had 3 recovered fumbles and 1 interception as well. So the defense really looking stronger. And then, of course, you can't argue with the performance Tommy DeVito put up. 4 touchdowns, 287 yards. That's exactly where you'd expect the redshirt sophomore to be improving upon his game.
Well, hopefully they play football better than I speak. Nicole Weaving, thank you very much. Coming up next on Citrus TV News, one last look at your weather. We'll be right back.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where did Cavs go on vacation? New York.
Taking care of a family member can lead to plenty of questions. Fortunately, there's a place to get the answers, for them and for you. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Well, welcome back to Citrus TV News. We bring in our weather anchor, Toni Bianco. Now, Toni, what can we expect when we wake up tomorrow morning?
Right, so tomorrow morning, like I said, a rain jacket is definitely necessary. It's going to be about 60 degrees, so pretty chilly, and we could possibly be seeing some thunderstorms, which is not what you like to hear.
So what's the outfit choice tomorrow? Rain jacket, I'm assuming?
Rain jacket, rain boots, umbrella, whatever you got to stay dry. We're going to be seeing rain throughout the day, stopping around 5 o'clock at night, so all day long.
And how about the next couple of days?
Yeah, so the next couple of days are, like I said earlier, it's pretty scattered. You see like some sun on Wednesday, some sun on Friday, but rain all in between that. Thursday, just showers in the morning, and that sun poking out in the afternoon. And the temperatures are pretty scattered too. I mean, it's a pretty bizarre week, pretty typical for here in Syracuse, yeah.
Our weather anchor, Toni Bianco, thank you so much. And Disney fans woke up to a new Frozen trailer this morning. In the new trailer, Arendelle is once again facing an evil threat, this time from a mysterious enchanted forest.
Now, Elsa and the rest of the gang venture into the forest in order to defeat the threat and discover more details about Elsa's past. Frozen 2 is set to hit theaters November 22nd. And that's all the time we have for you on Citrus TV News Live at 6. Be sure to follow us on social media at Citrus TV News for the latest on all of our on-campus stories. Tonight, for all of us at Citrus TV News, I'm Jack Watson.
And I'm Carmella Boykin. Have a great evening, Syracuse.